Project Management Professional Training Session 3. Project Environment. PMP Exam Objectives: What it really means. 1.1 Perform Project Assessment. 1.7 Conduct Benefit Analysis. Perform project assessment based upon available information, lessons learned from previous projects, and meetings with relevant stakeholders in order to support the evaluation of the feasibility of new products or services within the given assumptions and/or constraints. Conduct benefit analysis with relevant stakeholders to validate project's alignment with organizational strategy and expected business value. You must master the development of two business documents, the project business case and the project benefit management plan, discussed in this chapter and in the Origin of Projects part of Chapter 1. Internalize all the material discussed in Chapters 1 and 2, as the exam assumes that you already know these basic concepts. Although you use your knowledge in terms of processes to manage projects, the management will be greatly influenced by the environment in which the project runs, such as the structure and culture of the performing organization. Projects also originate from their environments. In the previous chapter, you learned how the 5 process groups, which we also referred to, in this book, as different stages in the project lifecycle, and the 10 project management knowledge areas constitute the project management framework. The actual implementation of project management is greatly influenced by the facts on the ground where the rubber hits the road. In other words, a given project is performed in a certain environment, example, it runs in an organization with its own structure and culture, in a certain location with its own culture and laws. This part of the environment is called the Enterprise Environment Factors, EEF. Now, the organization has some assets, such as knowledge, policy and procedures, and processes, to start the project and support it through its life cycle. This part of the project environment is called the Organizational Process Assets, OPA. In addition to these two components, we will add project stakeholders to the environment to complete the story. This environment influences the project and therefore impacts it. In fact, project is born in this environment and goes through it for its entire life cycle. As they say in physics, action and reaction are equal and opposite. As a project is being influenced and impacted by its environment, it or its outcome influence and impact back some element of the environment. For example, a successful project can change the business value state of the organization to a higher level, and a project aimed at opposing a cultural trend or creating a new trend can impact the culture of a society. The goal in this chapter is to explore how project environment can influence the project and hence project management. We will build this chapter around 3 basic concepts: influence, organizational systems, and project stakeholders. Caution! You will hear an earful about 2 concepts, influence and impact, in this book and in project management in general. So, it's important to get them right. Think of influence like a force, and when a force is applied to anything, it has an impact on that thing. The magnitude of the impact may vary depending on the situation. Project environment, big picture. As explained in Chapter 1, a project originates in response to a situation in order to fulfill the business need of an organization according to its strategy. The organization and its internal and external environments, example EEF and OPA, are already there and are where the project is born, as illustrated in Figure 2.1. The business need assessment leads to producing the 2 project management documents, i.e., the project business case and the benefit management plan, which includes project objectives and success measures, which leads to producing the project charter document. The project charter authorizes the project and fully activates the environment to start operating on the project. As the project environment does influence and a result positively and negatively impacts the project, you must implement project management accordingly to lead the project to success. As illustrated in Figure 2.1, the main elements that constitute the project environment are enterprise environment factors, organizational assets, and project stakeholders. Figure 2.1. The big picture of the project environment, organizational structure, enterprise environment factors, organizational assets, and project stakeholders contribute to the environment that influences a project. Enterprise environment factors, EEFs. Enterprise environment factors are factors that are related to the environment, either internal or external to the performing organization, and that can influence and potentially impact the project. Some examples are the organization structure and culture and any city culture conditions external to the organization. The EEFs are from external to the project. Organizational project assets, OPAs. These are the processes or process-related assets of the project-performing organization that can be used to help the project succeed. Procedures, templates, and lessons learned database developed from previous projects are some examples. The OPAs are internal to the organization and external to the project. Project stakeholders. Stakeholders can be both internal and external to the organization and the project. The project team and project sponsor in the organization are examples of internal stakeholders, and customers the external. Note that, understandably, the project environment is largely created by the performing organization. For presentation convenience, we will start with EEFs and OPAs. Let's explore the enterprise environmental factors along with the organizational process assets in some detail. Identifying environmental factors and process assets and their influence on process. While exploring the general environment of the performing organization, you should identify the environmental factors and process assets that will influence your project. Some of these factors and assets can be used to help the project, others may have a negative influence. However, in either case, you need to manage them. Enterprise environmental factors. Enterprise environmental factors are the factors that are related to the environment either internal or external to the performing organization and that can potentially influence and hence impact the project. They may originate from within the performing organization, from outside of the organization, or from both. These factors may have a positive or negative influence on the project. Example, some factors may facilitate the project and some others may give rise to constraints. Some examples of organizational environmental factors are presented in Table 2.1. Caution. When identifying internal and external factors, it is important to consider the context of the factor. For example, the culture of the city where the performing firm is located is an external environmental factor, while the firm's culture is an internal factor. Identifying the environmental factors is only part of the job, as you must effectively use the positive factors to help the project and try to take action to minimize the effect of negative factors on the project. Note that the environmental factors can be internal to the performing organization, such as the organization's culture, or external to the organization, such as market conditions. However, the organizational process assets are internal only. Organizational process assets. These are the processes or process-related assets from the organization that can be used to help the project get going and succeed. The organizational process assets are typically grouped into two categories: processes and procedures for conducting work, and a corporate knowledge database for storing and retrieving information. For example, the performing organization might have its own guidelines, policies, and procedures whose effect on the project you must consider while developing the project charter and other project documents that will follow. Another example of an organization's process assets is the knowledge and learning acquired from previous projects. The following list contains some items from both categories, processes and procedures, and the knowledge database. Processes, procedures, and policies. This category includes processes, procedures, policies, and other guidelines and requirements. In the following, we present some types and examples. Standardized processes and procedures. Examples are organizational-level policies, such as health and safety policies, ethics policies, project management policies, and quality policies, and procedures, such as quality checklists and auditing processes. Standard guidelines and criteria. Examples are as follows: project closure guidelines, project acceptance criteria, proposal evaluation criteria, performance measurement criteria, and so on. Guidelines and criteria for tailoring the standardized organizational processes for the purpose of the project. Templates. Examples are templates to support some project management tasks, such as a list of standard risks to look for, project schedule network diagrams, and the work breakdown structure. Requirements. Examples include the following: communication requirements, hiring requirements, and safety and security requirements. Guidelines and requirements for project closure, such as final mandatory project audits and product acceptance criteria. You need to follow these guidelines and accommodate the requirements while working out the details of the project management processes that you will perform. As is clear from the few examples presented here, you will be using these process assets throughout the project lifecycle. Accordingly, these will get more coverage in the upcoming chapters of the book. Tip processes and procedures come from outside of the project, e.g. the Project Management Office, PMO, or some other office within the organization, and you can't update them, while knowledge databases also come from outside the project, but you can and should update, i.e., add to them. Knowledge database repository. This category includes databases that allow you to do two things: 1. Retrieve information to use for your project, and 2. Store information from your project as it proceeds for use in this and future projects. Here are some items in this category. Project files. The documents and other files produced in the project, such as the project charter and scope statement. Measurement database. An example is a database for the performance measurements. Historical information and lessons learned. Archives of files from previous projects, including lessons learned from the projects. Issue and defect management. A database that allows the managing of issues and defects, such as logging, controlling, and resolving an issue or defect. You can also find the status of the issue or the defect from this database. Financial database. The financial information related to the project, such as budget, work hours, and cost overruns. Configuration management database. Contains the change history, different versions and baselines for the company standards, policies, and archived project documents. In a nutshell, enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets contribute to the project environment along with project stakeholders, and this environment influences and impacts the project. One very important internal EEF is the organizational culture and structure, which we will discuss in more detail. Note: enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets are common inputs to many project management processes. Sometimes they can also appear as an output from a process, such as archived documents and lessons learned. Understanding the organizational culture and its influence on projects. Each organization often develops its own unique culture that depends on many factors, such as the application area of the organization and the general management philosophy implemented in the organization. The organizational culture includes the following elements. Work environment. The organizational culture reflects work ethics and work hours. For example, do the employees work strictly from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., or do they work late into the night and on weekends, or are employees allowed to work from home? Management style. The organizational culture also reflects authority relationships. Do the managers manage by authority or by leadership? How much feedback is taken from the employees in making management decisions? How do the employees view the authority of the management? Policies. The organizational policies, methods, and procedures also reflect the organizational culture. Values and vision. A significant part of organizational culture lives in the set of values, norms, beliefs, and expectations shared within the organization. This may be impacted by the organization's mission and vision. For example, a nonprofit organization will have different values than a for-profit organization. Furthermore, one organization may encourage an entrepreneurial approach, while another organization may be rigidly hierarchical and may take an authoritarian approach in making decisions on what to do and what not to do. Organizational culture has an influence on multiple aspects of a project, including the following. Project selection. The organizational culture will creep into the selection criteria for projects and programs. For example, a rigidly hierarchical and authoritarian organization may not be very adaptive to programs and projects with high risk. Project management style. The project manager should adapt the management style to the organizational culture. For example, an authoritarian style may run into problems in an entrepreneurial organization with a participative culture. Team performance assessments. While making team performance assessments, the project manager should keep in mind the established norms and expectations within the organization. Project policies and procedures. The project policies and procedures will be influenced by the organizational policies and procedures because they should be consistent with each other. While it is itself a contribution to the organizational system, the culture of an organization is greatly influenced by its structure. Understanding the organizational structures and their influence on projects. From the perspective of a project, organizational structures can be divided into three groups: project-friendly, not project-friendly, and a spectrum of types in between. Project-friendly organizations are project-oriented organizations, and those with PMOs have high project resource availability and employ full-time project managers with almost full authority. On the other hand, non-project friendly organizations, such as functional, also called centralized organizations, have little to no project resource availability, and they only hire part-time project managers with little to no authority. Project-friendly organizations may be further grouped into two subcategories: those that derive their revenue primarily from performing projects for others and those that do in-house projects to deliver products or services for customers. Project-friendly organizations are well aware of the importance of project management and generally have systems available to support project management. Non-project-friendly organizations generally have a low appreciation for and understanding of the importance of project management and often lack systems to support project management. By systems, I mean tools and facilities specialized or suitable for performing project management effectively, such as project management information systems. Caution: in the case of project resources, the key word here is availability, in-house, easily accessible online, or in any other form. To do your job efficiently and effectively, you must figure out what kind of organizational structure you are working in. An effective project manager understands the organizational structure and leverages it for the success of the project. The exact structure of any organization results from an interplay among a multitude of variables and is unique. However, here, in the context of a project, we will discuss a few organization types as defined by their structures: functional organizations, project-oriented organizations, matrix organizations, and more. Functional organizations. A functional organization has a traditional organizational structure in which each functional department, such as engineering, marketing, and sales, is a separate entity. A typical functional structure is shown in Figure 2.2, where each member of each department, staff, reports to the functional manager of that department, and the functional manager in turn reports to an executive, such as the Chief Executive Officer, CEO. Depending on the size of the organization, there could be a hierarchy within the functional managers. For example, directors of engineering, QA, and IT operations reporting to the Vice President, VP, of engineering, who in turn reports to the CEO. The scope of a project in a functional organization is usually limited to the boundaries of the functional department. Therefore, each department runs its projects largely independent of other departments. When communication needs to occur between two departments, it is carried out through the hierarchy of functional managers. All the managerial power, or authority, in a functional organization is vested in the functional managers, who generally control the team members' performance evaluations, salary, bonuses, hiring, and firing. With their role limited to coordinating the project activities, project managers are held responsible for the project results even though they have little say over resource assignments or holding team members accountable for their work. As a result, being project manager in a functional organization can be challenging and sometimes frustrating. You, as a project manager in a functional organization, can benefit greatly from your good relationships with functional managers and team members. Networking and leadership are the keys to your success in a functional organization. A project manager in a functional organization has the following attributes. The project manager's role and the project team are part-time. There is little or no authority over anything, resource assignments, team members, and the like. The project manager reports directly to a functional manager. There is little or no administrative staff to help the project manager with the project. Little or no project resources are available. Note: in functional organizations, project management might be conducted under other names, such as project coordinator or team leader. On the other end of the spectrum is the project-oriented organization. Project-oriented organizations. A project-oriented organization structure is largely organized around projects. Most of the organization's resources are devoted to projects. An ideal simple structure example for a project-oriented organization is shown in Figure 2.3, where project team members report directly to the project manager, who has a great deal of independence and authority. Along with responsibility comes a high level of autonomy over the projects. The project managers are happy campers in a projectized organization. Functional organizations and project-oriented organizations are on opposite ends of the spectrum as far as a project manager's authority and project resource availability. A project manager in a projectized organization has the following attributes. The project manager is full-time. The project manager has full authority over the project team. There is full-time administrative staff to help with the project. A project management office, PMO, is another organizational structure, discussed at the end of this section, in which project managers are full-time with high authority and high availability of project resources. On the scale of project friendliness, next to project-oriented organizations and PMOs are matrix organizations. Matrix organizations. A matrix organization is organized into functional departments, but a project is run by a team that may have members coming from different functional departments. As shown in a simple example in Figure 2.4, the project would be managed by a project manager belonging to the functional department of project management. Of course, project team members would come from other departments. On the spectrum of a project manager's authority, full or part-time employment, and project resource availability, matrix organizations come in next to project-oriented organizations and PMOs. Matrix organizations are generally categorized into a strong matrix, which is closer to a project-oriented structure, a weak matrix, which is closer to a functional structure, and a balanced matrix, which is in between strong and weak. We have explored three of the main organizational structures. In the real world, some organizations use a hybrid, mix, of these structures to meet their varied needs. For example, a functional organization may run a specific project just like it would be run in a projectized organization. Such organizations are called, hybrid organizations. Hybrid organization. A hybrid organization is a type of organization that contains elements of multiple other organizational structures, such as functional, matrix, and projectized. For example, consider an organization that has a traditional functional departmental structure but launches some projects within a single department and some interdepartmentally. Some of the project managers are full-time and some part-time, with varying authority. So, what you've got here is a hybrid organization. Multidivisional, organic, and virtual organizations. There are three more organizational structures whose influence we will discuss in the following paragraphs. Multidivisional. In this kind of structure, work groups or divisions are organized by product, production processes, portfolio, program, geographic region, or customer type. Each division functions like a department in a functional organization, and the influence of this structure on a project is identical to that in a functional organization, part-time project manager with no or little authority and no or little project resource availability, etc. Organic. In this flexible organization structure, also called simple or flat, there are minimal boundaries. For example, startup companies often have this kind of structure. In this structure there are part-time project managers with no or little authority and no or little project resource availability. The projects are started by functional managers with part-time project management administrative staff. Virtual. Welcome to the information age, and thanks to the internet or web technologies, we now have all kinds of virtual organizations and virtual projects in action. In this structure, where individuals and groups are connected through the web, we have full-time or part-time project managers with low to moderate authority and low to moderate project resource availability. The projects may be started by functional managers or project managers with full-time or part-time project management administrative staff. Project Management Office, PMO. The Project Management Office, PMO, refers to an entity in an organization that is responsible for providing centralized support, control, or directives for projects in the organization. The actual structure and function of a PMO depends on the organization's needs. The supportive PMO type provides templates and information about access, best practices, lessons learned from past projects, and training. In this type of structure, PMOs have a low degree of control and influence over the project. On the control and influence scale, the next PMO type is the controlling type, where in addition to providing support, it requires compliance, including the following. 1. Use of specific templates, forms, and tools. 2. Adoption of project management frameworks or methodologies. 3. Conformance to a given governance framework. This type provides PMOs with moderate control over projects. The maximum control and influence over projects is exercised by PMOs of the directive type, where the PMO directly manages projects with full control. As a PMO has a higher-level view of and data from all projects, it can help align the project objectives with the organization's strategy and in this way deliver added business value for the organization. A PMO can provide a measurement system at the organizational level by integrating project data with information from the organization's strategy, and in this way act as a liaison between portfolio, programs, and project. As already discussed in this chapter, the organizational structure at least partially determines or reflects the management structure, governance structure, and culture of the organization. Organization structure, governance structure, management structure, and culture are very significant factors in composing the organization system, which has a tremendous influence over projects. They are very important components of enterprise environmental factors. In addition to enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets, project stakeholders have tremendous influence, hence, impact on projects. So, who are project stakeholders? Let's meet them. Introducing the project stakeholders. Right from the day you assume responsibility for managing a project, you start meeting a very special class of people called the project stakeholders. It is very important for the success of the project that you identify these individuals and communicate with them effectively throughout the project. Identifying project stakeholders. Project stakeholders are individuals and organizations whose interests are affected, positively or negatively, by the project execution and completion. As they say in physics, action and reaction are equal and opposite. If a project is going to influence and hence impact stakeholders, they are going to impact the project back. Let's consider, for simplicity, only two cases. A project stakeholder has something to gain from the project or lose to the project. Accordingly, these stakeholders fall into two categories: positive stakeholders, who will normally benefit from the success of the project, and negative stakeholders, who will see some kind of disadvantage coming from the project. The implications obviously are that the positive stakeholders would like to see the project succeed, and the negative stakeholders' interests would be better served if the project were delayed or cancelled altogether. For example, your city mayor might be a positive stakeholder in a project to open a Walmart store in your neighborhood because it brings business to the city, whereas some local business leaders might look at it as a threat to local businesses and thereby may act as negative stakeholders. Caution! Stakeholders can be grouped into more than two categories, as we will do in a separate chapter, but here for the sake of simplicity we broadly divide them into two groups: positive and negative. Negative stakeholders are often overlooked by the project manager and the project team, which increases project risk. Ignoring positive or negative project stakeholders will have a damaging impact on the project. Therefore, it's important that you, the project manager, start identifying the project stakeholders early on in the project. The different project stakeholders can have different and conflicting expectations, which you need to analyze and manage. We will explore that and much more about stakeholders in the upcoming chapters. But for now, while noting that identifying all the project stakeholders might be a difficult task, let's meet some obvious stakeholders. Project Management Office, PMO. If your organization has a PMO and it is directly or indirectly involved in the project, then the PMO is a stakeholder in that project. Project Team. Project team broadly includes project management team and individuals who perform the work of the project to produce the project outcome. This team may consist of individuals from different groups and departments with different subject matter expertise and skills. Program Manager. If your project is part of a program, then the program manager is certainly a stakeholder in your project. Portfolio Managers and Portfolio Review Board. A portfolio manager is an individual who performs high-level management, or governance, of a set of projects and programs and interfaces between the projects/programs and the business strategy of the organization for which the projects and programs are being run. The Portfolio Review Board is a committee that selects and rejects projects by reviewing them for factors such as the project value, return on investment, and risks involved in performing the project. Functional Managers. These are individuals who play management roles within administrative or functional areas of the organization. For example, the VP of Marketing is a functional manager, and so is the Director of Engineering. The level of authority depends on their position in the hierarchy and also the organizational structure. For example, if you are using resources that are under a functional manager, that functional manager is a stakeholder in your project. Operational Management. These are the individuals who play management roles in the operational areas of the organization. For example, the Director of IT, who is responsible for maintaining the computer network that your team is using, is a stakeholder in your project. Depending on your project, you might be handing over the product of the project to an operations group that will be responsible for providing long-term support for it. Sellers and business partners. Business partners are entities external to the performing organization, such as contractors and suppliers, that enter into a contractual agreement with the performing organization to provide certain components for the project. These components are the products, services, or results that you procure. Business partners are the external organizations that fill a specific role for the project, such as installing the product of the project, providing training and support for the product, or providing specialized expertise for the project. Business partners are different from vendors in that they have a special ongoing relationship with the organization, which often is attained by satisfying some requirements, such as a certification. Customer/user. In general, customers are the entities that will acquire the project's outcome, such as a product, and users are the entities that will use the product. In some cases, customers and users may be the same entity, and in other cases there may be a whole chain, with different layers, of customers and users. For example, a textbook produced by a project run by a publisher is recommended by instructors, bought by bookstores, and used by students. Project sponsor. This is the individual or group that provides financial resources for the project. A sponsor has a major stake in the project and may perform an active role in the project team from time to time. The following are some of the functions of a sponsor. The sponsor champions the project when it's conceived. This includes gathering support for the project by performing actions such as acting as the project spokesperson to higher-level management and by spelling out the benefits of the project. The sponsor leads the project through the selection process until the project is finally authorized, at which point the leadership role goes to the project manager. The sponsor plays an important role in developing the initial project scope and charter. The sponsor serves as an authority and a catalyst for issues beyond the control of project managers, such as authorizing critical changes and other yes/no decisions. In addition to these key stakeholders, who are easy to identify, there can be a number of other stakeholders who might be more difficult to identify both inside and outside of your organization. Depending upon the project, these might include investors, sellers, contractors, family members of the project team members, government agencies, media outlets, lobbying organizations, individual citizens, and society at large. Have I left anyone out? While dealing with the stakeholders, the keyword is influence. Watch out for influencers who are not direct customers or users of the product or service that will come from the project, but who can influence the course of the project due to their positions in the customer organization or performing organization. The influence can be positive or negative, that is, for or against the project. Caution! Do not confuse the project management team with the project team. The project management team consists of individuals involved in the project management tasks. It is a subset of the project team, which includes members of the project management team and also other members, such as those who perform the actual work of the project. So, not only are stakeholders affected positively and negatively by the project, but the project can also be impacted positively or negatively by them. It is critical for the success of the project that you identify positive, negative, and other types of stakeholders early on in the project, understand and analyze their varying and conflicting expectations, and manage those expectations throughout the project. We will return to this topic further on in the book. Hold on, when we were identifying project stakeholders, did somebody say project manager? Identifying the stakeholder within, project manager. Of course you, the project manager, are one very special project stakeholder with a crucial stake. The project success. The job role of a project manager is extremely challenging and therefore exciting. In general, the role of a project manager is to lead the project team to meet the project objectives aligned with the company's strategic objectives. Depending on the company, you may be involved even before the project initiation stage in project defining and justification activities in the context of the company's objectives. Tip: depending on the nature of the project and the company's needs, the project manager's role may be tailored, just like the processes to be run in the project. You fulfill your role by aligning the project objectives with the company's objectives, showing the vision to the project team, coordinating various project activities through communication, and leading the team in delivering the product to meet project objectives. You work within what is called the project manager's area, or sphere, as PMI calls it, of influence, which includes the project team, offices and managers within the performing organization, supplies, end users and customers, and other stakeholders. Depending on the organizational structure of your organization, you may be interacting with PMOs, project sponsor, functional managers, program manager, portfolio manager, and possibly executives. Here, networking, formal and informal relation building, and communication skills are critical. You will be communicating throughout the project. So, for a given project, you must develop a communication strategy that addresses the following issues. What needs to be communicated? With whom do you want to communicate? You might need to communicate different items to different individuals or groups. How do you want to communicate, that is, what is the medium of communication? Again, this might differ depending on whom you are communicating with. What is the expected and real outcome of your communication? You need to monitor your communication and its results to see what works and what does not so you can learn and improve. Communication is also an ingredient for many other skills, such as negotiation and problem solving. We have 2 complete knowledge areas concerning this in project management, one for communication management and one for stakeholder management, and we will be covering them in the upcoming chapters. But, from the discussion so far in this and previous sections, it is clear that it takes more than just knowledge of project management to be an effective project manager. Even in the very definition of project manager, there appears the phrase, lead the project team. So, leadership skills are obviously necessary. PMI defines the project manager competencies by what it calls the PMI talent triangle. From the material covered so far in this book, you know a project manager 1, should know project management, obviously, 2, leads the project team, and 3, should align the project objectives with the organization's strategic and business objectives. The corresponding competencies or talents may be termed as 1, technical project management skills, 2, leadership skills, or 3, strategic and business management skills, respectively. Well, we have just defined the PMI talent triangle, shown is Figure 2.5 and further discussed next. Technical project management skills. In general, technical skills refer to the knowledge and ability to perform specific tasks in a specific field. The keyword here is practical or hands-on as opposed to just theoretical knowledge only. Technical tasks are usually performed in fields such as mechanics, IT, and mathematics and science. As project management covers almost any field including these as its application areas, project management is also considered a technical field. The technical project management skill, in general, refers to the ability to effectively apply project management knowledge to deliver the planned project objectives. Some top technical project management skills are discussed here. 1. Manage project elements. These skills refer to the general ability to effectively manage different project components, such as cost, resources, risks, and schedule. 2. Plan and prioritize. These are the skills needed to plan thoroughly and prioritize things in context of project objectives and stakeholder needs. 3. Tailoring. This is the ability to tailor tools, techniques, and methods to the needs of the project at hand. 4. Focus on critical elements. These skills refer to the ability to focus on the critical elements of each project, critical success factors, schedule, some selected most relevant financial reports, and issue log. Strategic and business management skills. Strategic and business management skills refer to having a high-level view of the company, with an understanding of its strategic and business objectives, and the ability to effectively use this understanding to perform certain tasks. These tasks include negotiating, implementing decisions, and performing other tasks, all with one goal in mind: the alignment of the project outcome with the company's strategic objectives. You are not expected to be a business expert, but the more you know, the better it would be. Furthermore, you can get help from business experts in the company, including operation managers. You should have at least enough business knowledge to perform the 3 levels of a task: organization level, project level, and alignment level. Organization level. These strategic and business management skills refer to the ability to know and explain the organization's mission, strategy, goals and objectives, and product and services. You should also know and be able to explain the following. 1. What is the market condition of the business the company is in? How big is the market, and is it expanding or going downhill? Who are the customers, and what would be the right time to market the project's product? And so forth. 2. What are the different aspects of the company's business operation, such as type of operation, technology being used, and so on. 3. What are competitor companies and what is their position in the market? Project level. These strategic and business management skills refer to knowing and being able to explain the project being managed. Moreover, with help from the project sponsor and business experts, you, working with the project team, should be able to develop the project delivery strategy in light of the organization's strategy. Once the project strategy is in hand, you should be able to implement it in such a way that the project adds maximum business value to the organization. Alignment level. These skills refer to the ability to align the project objectives and deliverables with the organization's strategy. This is another way of saying what we said in the previous paragraph. You will implement the project strategy to add maximum business value to the organization. In practice, it's done by setting your priorities correctly and being tactical in order to deliver the project outcome in light of the organization's strategy. In a nutshell, strategic and business management skills are the abilities to understand organization strategy, draw a project delivery strategy from it, and align the project strategy with the organization's strategy, as illustrated in Figure 2.6. Figure 2.6. Strategic and business management skills: understand organization strategy, draw project delivery strategy from it, and align project strategy with organization strategy. Leadership skills. Leadership. In a traditional organizational structure such as a functional structure, project managers do not have formal authority over the project team members who perform the team work. So, you have no other choice than to manage by leadership and not by authority or power. The good news is that managing by leadership is overall more effective and productive than managing by authority anyway. A project team is generally a group of individuals coming together for the lifetime of the project, possibly from different functional groups and likely with different skills and experience. They need a leader to show them the vision and to excite, inspire, motivate, guide, and direct them toward the goals and objectives of the project. You, the project manager, are that leader. No matter what the organization's structure, leadership includes a plethora of capabilities or skills that are learned and developed by practicing them. Example: communication, negotiation, critical thinking, problem solving, and interpersonal. Interpersonal skills are very important because you practice leadership by dealing with people, in project management, mostly with project stakeholders. In dealing with people, the following are some of the qualities that good leaders generally exhibit. Visionary: visualize the product and how it fits into the big picture of the organization's strategy, and be able to translate this vision for the team. Have a holistic big picture view of the project, accounting for all internal and external factors. Team builder: the ability to build an effective team using a fun attitude, sense of humor, positive and optimistic approach, and other appropriate personality traits. Positive and optimistic, while being aware of weaknesses and the negative side of things and working to correct them, is God. Always exhibit a positive and optimistic attitude when dealing with people. Social personality traits: be respectful, kind, courteous, and friendly, honest and trustworthy, and ethical when dealing with people. Show respect or sensitivity to other cultures, lifestyles, and ways of thinking. Collaborative and conflict resolver: adopt a collaborative, as opposed to confrontational, approach to dealing with people, managing relationships, and resolving conflicts. Effective communicator: listening and showing interest by asking questions, giving and accepting feedback, and managing expectations are some important components of communication exhibited by a good leader. Pro-integrity: exhibit professionalism with integrity, give credit where it belongs. Hands-on skills: critical and analytical thinker, problem solver, action and results oriented. Tip: research shows that project managers, on average, spend 90% of their time on the job communicating. Some of the skills mentioned or discussed here, such as communication, team building, and conflict resolution, will be further elaborated later in the book. However, negotiation, influencing, and problem-solving skills warrant more discussion here. 3 skills: negotiation, influencing, and problem-solving. 3 skills, which are implicit parts of the PMI talent triangle, are worth an explicit discussion: negotiation, problem-solving, and influencing. Negotiation: a negotiation is give and take, with the goal of generating a win-win outcome for both parties whenever possible. For example, you might need to negotiate at any stage of the project lifecycle. Here are some examples of negotiations. Negotiating with stakeholders regarding expectations during project planning. For example, the suggested deadline for the project schedule might not be practical, or you might need a certain type or quantity of resources to make it happen. Negotiating with functional managers to obtain human resources, such as software developers and big data experts. Negotiating with team members for specific job assignments and possibly when doing conflict resolution among the team members. Negotiating changes to the project schedule, budget, or both because a stakeholder proposed changes to the project objectives. Negotiating with external vendors in procurement. However, in contract negotiations, representatives from the legal department might be involved. The ability to influence helps negotiations. Influencing means getting individuals or groups to do what you want them to do without necessarily having formal authority to mandate an outcome from them. This is becoming an increasingly essential management skill in today's information economy. To exercise influence, you must understand the formal and informal structures of your organization. Again, you might need to use influence when you are dealing with any aspect of the project, for example, controlling changes to the project, negotiating schedule or resource assignments, resolving conflicts, and the like. Sometimes you will be negotiating to solve a problem. Problem solving. Project-related problems might occur among stakeholders, including team members, or with projects. Either way, they are there to damage the project. Your task is twofold: identify the problem early enough and solve it. In doing this, you will be using critical thinking with both logical and quantitative approaches. Here is the general technique for accomplishing this. 1. Identify the problem. Look for early warning signs by paying close attention to the formal progress reports and to what team members say and do regarding the project. Once you identify a potential problem, do your homework. Understand and identify the problem clearly by collecting more information without passing judgment. 2. Identify the root cause. Analyze information about the problem to discover its root cause or causes. 3. Generate possible solutions. Once the root cause or causes are clearly identified, work with the appropriate stakeholders, such as project team members, to explore multiple, alternative, solutions. 4. Evaluate, assess the multiple solutions and choose best one to implement. 5. Implement, apply the chosen solution. 6. Verify, assess and verify the effectiveness of the implemented solution. 7. Repeat, depending on the results of verification, you may have to start again at any of the preceding steps. The key point throughout the problem-solving process is to focus on the problem, not on the individuals, with the goal of finding the solution in order to help the project succeed. There should be no finger-pointing. As one of the three sides of the project manager's talent triangle, strategic and business management skills ensure that the project manager is able to participate in pre-initiation activities, such as defining the project, including its objectives and success criterion, and a making business case for the project, which leads to project selection. Project management business documents and project selection. In the previous chapter, we discussed how projects originate from their project initiation context, i.e., the need to 1. Meet legal, regulatory, or social requirements. 2. Satisfy stakeholder requests or needs. 3. Implement or change business or technological strategies, or 4. Create, improve, or fix products, processes, or services. This context triggers the process of creating two project management business documents: 1. Project business case, and 2. Project benefit management plan. Project business case. This document makes the case for the would-be project from a business perspective by providing necessary information that can be used to assess whether or not the expected project outcome is worth the required investment. It includes the business need, project objectives, and success criterion. The exact form and content may depend on the company, but the following standard components are usually there in this document. Business need. As previously mentioned, the creation process of the project business case document is triggered by some business need identified in the project initiation context. This document contains the summary of business assessment, which states the business problem or opportunity that is warranting action, what business value this action would add to the organization, what the scope is of the effort, and which stakeholders would be affected by this effort. For example, think of a new technology that presents an opportunity for a company to expand its business. Business needs present a situation that needs to be analyzed. Business analysis of the situation. This analysis starts by identifying the origins of the business problem or opportunity at hand and the strategic objective and goals of the organization. Then, a gap analysis is performed by comparing project requirements with the present capabilities of the organization. The project risks and critical factors to be considered in evaluating success are also laid out. With all this information, the obvious question the document addresses is what to do about the problem or opportunity. It may propose different solutions and then propose criterion by which to evaluate these different ways to help you make the decision criterion. For example, to address the problem, if it proposes the solutions A, B, and C, for each of A, B, and C, it answers the question, to address to the problem, what is required, i.e., bare minimum, that would be needed to be done, what is only desired but not required, and what is optional, i.e., not essential? The answers to these questions will help you decide which path should be taken to respond to the problem or opportunity. The business case also records the different ways to respond to the problem or opportunity. Option: what to do. These are different solutions or alternative ways to address the problem or opportunity. The very basic set of options a business case could address is as follows: do nothing, i.e., no project; do minimum, do more than the minimum. Then, there would be alternative ways of doing the chosen option. Recommendation: what path to take. This component of the business case recommends one of the options considered in the document, citing the option analysis results. For the option, it also includes constraints, dependencies, and assumptions and risks, along with the factors to be used to measure the project success. Furthermore, the milestones and roles and responsibilities of the project are laid out. Evaluation: how to measure the benefits. This component describes the plan of how the benefits delivered by the project will be measured throughout the project lifecycle. In summary, the business case presents and analyzes a problem or an opportunity in the context of the organization's strategy, proposes alternative courses of action and the criterion of how to select one of these, based on this criterion, recommends one, and states how to measure the benefits and success of the project that would come out of the recommended course of action. This sounds like a lot to carry in one document, but remember that the business case is not a self-contained document. It depends upon or refers to other documents, such as business need assessment, project success measures, and project benefit management plan. Tip: the business case document is used to authorize further project management activities, and usually the project sponsor is responsible for its development and maintenance throughout the project lifecycle in case the project is finally approved. Project benefit management plan. The project benefit management plan document describes what, when, and how project benefits would be delivered and how they would be measured. The key elements in the document answer some key questions such as: 1. What are the project's target benefits and how well do they align with the organization's business strategy? 2. What is the benefit delivery timeframe, example, short terms, ongoing, phase by phase, or long term? 3. Who is the benefit owner to record, report, and monitor the benefits as they materialize? 4. What are the metrics to tag or mark the realization and measurement of each benefit? 5. What are the key assumptions and risks regarding the benefit realizations? This document defines the target benefits of a given project. But, in general, a project benefit is any project outcome that delivers value to the organization or to the stakeholders who are the planned beneficiary of the project. The information from the business need assessment and business case documents is used in developing the project benefit management plan document. Caution: the project manager must keep the general management approach in harmony with the theme of the business case, and the project benefit management plan documents, which are interdependent, are developed iteratively, and are maintained through the project lifecycle. In addition to project benefits, the business case document also refers to project success measures. In fact, all these documents and plans are being developed to gear the project toward success. So, what is project success, and how is it measured? Project success measures. Before we can talk about measuring the project success, we need to define success. Although most project practitioners and researchers agree that project success is defined and measured by the degree of meeting the project objectives, different stakeholders can have different ideas about which factors to count and with how much weight in measuring success. Example: time, cost, quality, alignment of result with organization's business strategy, etc. The bottom line is that project success is defined and methods or metrics to measure it are determined for every project uniquely. Obviously, the factors chosen to define success should be reliably measurable. For example, here are some financial factors that may be used to measure the success of a project. Return on investment, ROI. The ROI is the percentage profit from the project. For example, if you spend $400,000 on the project, and the benefit for the first year is $500,000, then ROI equals $500,000 to $400,000 $400,000, which equals 25%. Benefit cost ratio, BCR. This value is obtained by dividing the benefit by the cost. The greater the value, the more attractive the project is. For example, if the projected cost of producing a product is $20,000, and you expect to sell it for $60,000, then the BCR is equal to $60,000/$20,000, which is equal to 3. For the benefit to exceed the cost, the BCR must be greater than 1. Present value, PV, and net present value, NPV. To understand these two concepts, you must understand that $1 today can buy you more than what $1 next year will be able to buy. Think about inflation and return. The issue arises because it takes time to complete a project, and even when a project is completed, its benefits are reaped over a period of time, not immediately. In other words, the project is costing you today but will benefit you tomorrow. So, to make an accurate calculation for the profit, the cost and benefits must be converted to the same point in time. The NPV of a project is the present value of future cash inflows, benefits, minus the present value of current and future cash outflows, cost. For a project to be worthwhile economically, the NPV must be positive. As an example, assume you invest $300,000 today to build a house, which will be completed and sold after 3 years for $500,000. Also assume that real estate that is worth $400,000 today will be worth $500,000 after 3 years. So the present value of the cash inflow on your house is $400,000, and hence the NPV is the present value of the cash inflow minus the present value of the cash outflow, which equals $400,000 to $300,000, which equals $100,000. Payback period, PBP. Payback period is defined as the duration of time required to recoup the original amount of investment. For example, a $15,000 investment made at the start of year 1 that returned $5,000 at the end of each year for the first 3 years would have a 3-year payback period. The longer the payback period, the less desirable the investment is. This is because, as explained earlier, the value of the money unit, example, dollars, decreases with time. Internal return rate, IRR. This is just another way of interpreting the benefit from the project. It looks at the cost of the project as the capital investment and translates the profit into the interest rate over the life of that investment. Calculations for IRR are outside of the scope of this book. Just understand that the greater the value for IRR, the more beneficial the project is. Technically, IRR is defined as the interest rate at which the net present value of all the cash flows, both positive and negative, from a project or investment equals 0. Now, what is cash flow? Cash flow, CF, and discounted cash flow, DCF. Whereas cash refers to money, cash flow refers to both the money coming in and the money going out of an organization. Positive cash flow means more money is coming in than is going out. Cash inflow is benefit, income, and cash outflow is cost, expenses. The discounted cash flow refers to the amount that someone is willing to pay today in anticipation of receiving the cash flow in the future. DCF is calculated by taking the amount that you anticipate receiving in the future and discounting, converting it back to today on the time scale. This conversion factors into the interest rate and opportunity cost between now, when you are spending cash, and the time when you will receive the cash back. Other examples of factors that may be used as success measures include other financial and non-financial project objectives, the business value added to the organization to change its state, and fulfilling the terms and conditions of a contract. The key point is that for each project, before the rubber hits the road, success must be defined, methods and factors to measure it be determined, and agreement among appropriate stakeholders be reached. Tip: one of the most important technical aspects of project management is that you are able to measure items such as project benefits, project progress, and project success. So, for example, if your project is a 99% success, this success will not be a matter of opinion or perspective, rather, this success will be rock solid as it's measured. Well, we started with need assessment, looked at project management business documents, i.e., business case and project benefit management plans, and now know how to measure project benefits and project success. With all this data and information, are we ready for project authorization? Not quite yet. Project authorization. Figure 2.7 illustrates the procedure of project authorization, including need assessment, project management business documents i.e., business case and project benefit management plans and the project charter. As pointed out earlier, the business case document is used to authorize further project management activities. However, the project is formally authorized by a project charter document issued by the project sponsor, which allows the project manager to start using the organization's resources for the project. We will learn in the next chapter how to produce a project charter. As part of the project selection procedure, various scoring models may be used to choose between different courses of action as a response to the problem or opportunity discussed in the project business case section. Similarly, various economic models may be applied to assess the project benefits, quantities or factors like return on investment and benefit cost ratio, discussed in the previous section, can be used. These models are out of the scope of this book. Two other simple tools that can be used during the project selection procedure are opportunity cost and expert judgment. Figure 2.7. Project selection procedure. Project management activities are authorized based on project business case document, and project is authorized based on project charter document. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refers to selecting one project over another due to the scarcity of resources. In other words, by spending this dollar on this project, you are passing on the opportunity to spend this dollar on another project. How big an opportunity are you missing? The smaller the opportunity cost, the better it is. Study checkpoint 2.2. You have been offered a project B that will earn you a profit of $100,000 in 3 months. You already have an offer of a project A that will earn you a profit of $70,000 in 3 months. You can only do one project during these 3 months, and the project requesters are unable to move the project durations. Q1. What is the opportunity cost of project A? Q2. What is the opportunity cost of project B? Q3. Just based on the opportunity cost, which project will you select? Q4. Describe what can change your decision based just on the opportunity cost. Expert judgment. Expert judgment is one of the techniques used in project management to accomplish various tasks. For example, it's used to perform various project management processes, as you will see in upcoming chapters. It may be used during the project selection procedure. It refers to relying on expert advice and using that advice as the only factor or as one of multiple factors to make a decision. This expert advice can come from one or more of the following sources. Senior management. An appropriate unit within the organization. Project stakeholders, including customers and sponsors. Consultants. Professional and technical associations. Industry groups. Subject matter experts from within or outside the performing organization. The Project Management Office, PMO. As previously mentioned, the use of expert judgment is not limited to project selection. It can be used in many processes, such as developing a project charter. Expert judgment can be obtained by using a suitable method, such as individual consultation, interview, survey, or panel group discussion. Caution. Keep in mind that expert judgment can be very subjective at times and might include political influence. An excellent salesperson or an executive with great influence can exploit this method successfully. Summary. In any organization, a project is born out of the need to address a problem or an opportunity while staying in alignment with the organization's strategy. The project is born and performed in a certain environment constituted by 3 components: enterprise environmental factors, EEFs, organizational process assets, OPAs, and project stakeholders. The EEFs are environmental factors, which can be internal to the organization, such as organizational structure and culture, or external to the organization, such as the law of the land where the organization is located. However, the OPAs are only internal to the organization and are of 2 types: processes, policies and procedures, and knowledge database repositories. Project managers cannot change policy and procedures but can add to the knowledge databases. Enterprise environmental factors are related to how the performing organization does its business, whereas organizational process assets are specific to how the organization runs its projects. Project environment influences and hence impacts the project. As a project is being influenced and impacted by its environment, it or its outcome influence and impact back some element of the environment. The goal of project management is to manage the influence of the environment on the project in such a way that the project influences back to change the business value state of the organization to a higher level. The organization's business need triggers the process of creating two project management business documents: 1. The project business case, and 2. The project benefit management plan. The project sponsor authorizes the project by signing the project charter, which is a document based on these two project management business documents. So, how do we prepare the project charter document? Road ahead, the project charter is produced in the initiating stage, the first of the 5 stages or process groups of the project lifecycle that we explored in Chapter 1. In the next chapter, you will learn the process of creating a project charter as well as how to identify stakeholders in order to initiate the project. Exams I view, comprehend. Project environment that influences projects largely constituted by enterprise environmental factors, EEFs, and organizational project assets, OPAs, in addition to the project stakeholders. EEFs may be internal to the performing organization, such as the organizational structure and culture, or external, such as marketing conditions and legal restrictions, while OPAs are internal only, such as policies and procedures, and knowledge database repositories. A project is run in an environment constituted by organizational structure, organizational culture, enterprise environmental factors, and organizational process assets. The project manager's authority is none to little in a functional organization, low to high in a matrix organization, and high to almost full in a project-oriented organization. Being an effective project manager takes more than just the knowledge of project management. It requires the PMI talent triangle: 1. Technical project management skills, 2. Leadership skills, and 3. Strategic and business management skills. Strategic and business management skills are the abilities to understand the organization's strategy, draw a project delivery strategy from it, and align the project strategy with the organization's strategy. Look out. The same item may have entry into different kinds of EEFs and OPAs. Context is important. For example, the culture of a company is an internal EEF, while the culture of the country in which the company exists is an external EEF. You can update, i.e., add to, a knowledge repository. As for the processes, policies, and procedures part of OPAs, you cannot update policy and procedures, but you can and will be updating some items such as the project plan. Any individual or organization that is affected by a project and can influence, and hence impact, it is called a project stakeholder. Stakeholders certainly exist inside but can also exist outside of the performing organization. You must identify both positive and negative stakeholders of your project, and you must not ignore the negative stakeholders. Regardless of the structure of the performing organization, project managers are responsible for project results. The project charter is the only document that is issued to authorize the project, while the business case document is only used to authorize the project management activities to continue until the project is finally authorized or disapproved. Memorize. Between EEFs and OPAs, items related to processes, policies, procedures, and knowledge databases, including lessons learned, are OPAs, the rest are EEFs. The organizational structure table. Knowledge, performance, and personal abilities are the 3 kinds of characteristics that are necessary for a project manager to effectively manage projects. In some organizational structures, such as functional organizations, project management might be conducted under other names, such as project coordinator or team leader. PMI talent triangle, combination of 1. Technical project management skills, 2. Leadership skills, and 3. Strategic and business management skills. The 2 project management business documents are 1. Project business case, and 2. Project benefit management plan. A project is authorized the project sponsor by issuing the project charter. Review questions. 1. In which of the following organizational structures does the project manager have the greatest authority? A. Functional. B. Project-oriented. C. Matrix. D. Virtual. 2. In which of the following organizational structures does the project manager have the lowest authority? A. Functional. B. Project-oriented. C. Matrix. D. Virtual. 3. Check each that is the correct representation of PMI talent triangle. A. Leadership skills, strategic and business management skills, and IT part of project management skills. B. Technical project management skills, leadership skills, and knowledge of business strategy of the organization. C. Technical project management skills, leadership skills. and strategic and business management skills. D. Strategic and business management skills, technical project management skills, and knowledge of IT part of the company's business. 4. Strategic and business management skills include all of the following except A. Understanding organization's business strategy. B. Ability to draw project delivery strategy from organization's business strategy. C. Ability to align project strategy with organization's strategy. D. Ability to tailor the tools, techniques, and methods to effectively implement organization's business strategy, though the project. 5. The project resource availability is at maximum in organizations with the following structures. A. PMOB, hybrid. C. Multidivisional. D. Organic. 6. The project manager is responsible for achieving project objectives in an organization with the following structures. A. Project-oriented only. B. Strong matrix and project-oriented only. C. PMO and projectized only. D. All structures. 7. You have just joined an organization as a project manager and are studying the enterprise environmental factors of the organization to find out how you can leverage them for the success of your upcoming projects. Enterprise environmental factors may have what kind of influence on the projects? A. Positive only. B. Negative only. C. Positive or negative. D. None. 8. Technical project management skills include the abilities to check all that apply. A. Manage IT-related aspects of project only. B. Focus on the critical elements of each project, such as critical success factors, and schedule. C. Tailor tools, techniques, and methods according to the need of the project at hand. D. Plan and prioritize. 9. Select the internal enterprise environmental factors. A. Code of conduct within the performing company. B. Code of conduct that people in the city where the company is are expecting you to follow. C. Standardized cost estimate data on the company computer system. D. Project team members who are living in and working from foreign countries. 10. Which of the following are the project management business documents? A. Project charter. B. Project business case. C. Project benefit management plan. D. Business need analysis. 11. Which document is issued to authorize a project? A. Project business case. B. Project benefit management plan. C. Project charter. D. Both project charter and project business case. 12. Who authorizes the project? A. Functional manager of the department where project will be performed. B. CEO of the organization. C. Project sponsor. D. Project sponsor and project manager.